Mercadona, Mercadona.
Yep. Pero, ay, no, no.
Viva España, swag, viva España, España, España.
What's up, my man?
Yo, Ravi Goof. I mean, sorry, RPT Media.
You can call me however you want.
RPT Media, Mr. Ravin.
In the house.
Mr. Ravin in the house, in the studio.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very nice. It was great. I just teleported into this room. We haven't spoken to each other in years. When was the last episode we recorded?
It must have been in 2021.
Exactly. So we haven't spoken since that moment. And now I just popped out and this is our first conversation since then.
You changed a lot.
Yeah, man. So cool, right? It's of course, our relationship is exclusively on the Nesvi Show podcast. We don't talk in real life, Ravi,
At all. I don't know you.
Never.
I don't know you.
We only know each other from the podcast. Yeah, man. So, what do you do outside of podcasting? You know, what have you done lately besides sitting in this booth and talking to me?
Well, I've breathed some air every now and then.
I also love breathing air.
Man, we got so much in common.
Guys, do you
we
think
should be friends?
Do you think Ravi Goof and me have so much in common? We have the same hobbies. I like to breathe air. He likes to drink water. I like to drink water. I am made 80% out of swag and water, and he is also made out of swag and water. So we have a lot in common, guys.
So just tell me, how did you get here? Where are we?
What is this place?
What is this place?
We are very glad to be in a very swaggy studio, thanks to can I say?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, thanks to Mr. Daniel Jung, we can use his epic podcast studio, and we're here in Cologne City, which smells very nice. Cologne City is the best smelling city in all of Germany, may I add, and why were we here in Cologne, you may ask? Well, we're here in Cologne. Well, I'm here in Cologne because I wanted to check out the Gamescom. And
right.
You just happen to live in Cologne, which is next to the Gamescom.
That's
Gamescom.
perfect.
Not GameStop, Gamescom. They're different things, even though I mix them up very much. I have said, in the last few days, GameStop instead of Gamescom so many times.
You're starting to confuse people over there.
Yeah.
No, but what were you doing at the Gamescom?
Well, I was buying games. Well, no, I mean... see, I mixed them up again. No, what was I doing at the Gamescom? I was checking out cool games, sexy games that the community of developers have made. But I also was presenting my game that I made with my team, and it's called Bubble Ghost Remake. Bubble Ghost Remake.
And what is it about?
Bubble Ghost Remake is about a little ghost who blows at a bubble, and you can glide the bubble across the level, and you have to avoid obstacles and stuff like that. It's a challenging game.
I've tried it.
He has.
It's
he has.
challenging.
We'll put a clip here of the game hovering below my face, right? Of course. But of course, if people are just listening to us, it's good that we explain the gameplay to you. So basically, it's a complicated, it's a bit of a challenging experience, right? If you've played Celeste or Cuphead, it goes in that direction. We want to find a nice balance between, oh, this is so much fun, but I've died so many times, but I don't want to let the controller go because I am enjoying this and I'm immersed so much, but I'm also frustrated because I died 10,000 times already. That's the idea, right? And it's a remake of an Atari game, a French game, made by one guy, Christophe Andréani, in the 90s. And it also came out later on the Game Boy. And it was very popular in Japan, specifically.
Right.
And that's why we wanted to make it again. But with beautiful graphics, with a new story. The game has no story. It's an arcade game, so we added a story to it, beautiful characters,
You enhanced it, basically.
Yes. I wrote a nice story to encapsulate and contextualize the gameplay. It's about a loving man who is looking for his wife in an abandoned castle, and the story is filled with mystery, and you have to uncover the truth of this place with so much history. And it's a really cool narrative mixed with really, really challenging gameplay. So yes, we are releasing soon next year, early next year on Steam and Switch. So if you own either of those, buy the game twice. Just buy it twice. Once on Switch and once on Steam. Why not? Right? And early next year is our goal. Yes.
I'm super excited for it because I remember so many projects of yours. You always showed me your latest thing. We also discussed, in previous episodes of the Nesvi Show, what you were working on
And what you were working on.
Exactly.
We make a lot of content. We make a lot of stuff, right?
and now it has come to the point that you attended the Gamescom not only as a visitor but also as like someone who's showcasing their craft, which is amazing.
I put some stuff to the table, right? I bring you swaggy games. Here, look.
Yeah, keep on doing that.
Yes.
People are gonna love it.
I was super excited to bring something to the Gamescom because it's the biggest gaming event ever, and it's such a dream come true to bring such a cool thing to the Gamescom, where there's so much competition, there's so many games that are just, I see them and I think, damn, this game is amazing, it's incredible, it's so much better than what I made. How are we in the same space? Like, I feel so fortunate, right? I think that these amazing games are next to my project, and that is so cool. And I also really liked seeing the people and having them test it and tell me stuff and be like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, and seeing them enjoy it and be hooked and don't want to let the controller off and say, oh, I like the art, which of course involves me, right? Stuff like that, just boost my confidence up to the fucking sky, We're here in the ceiling, so up to the ceiling. So that is great, and I feel very fortunate. Yes, very fortunate.
I mean, at the Gamescom itself, you were at the space or in the region of the indie games, I think.
Yeah.
And in that region itself, or in that space, in that area,
is a sub area.
In that sub area, you had games from Spain.
Yeah.
Right.
Indies. And then there's a little aisle. There was a little aisle with the games from Spain, and our booth was there in 10-2, and there were games from everywhere across the country, right? Some guys from Madrid, some guys from Andalusia, and I talked to some devs too, and it was nice because I got to meet some people who were in the same boat, right? It's cool to meet people that also make games that are passionate about the same things that you are. That's cool.
Yeah, like-minded people.
Yes, yeah, I like that. It's networking, but networking is I want something from you, but just meeting people who enjoy the same things that you do and have the same passion and are there because they want to share their craft, that is something beautiful. You connect over something so significant to you, right? That is very cute stuff. Yes. So 10 out of 10 experience. Yeah. And if you are a developer, you also get to skip lines, which is also cool. Yeah, that was my Gamescom experience. Oh, I also hosted a speedrunning tournament about our game. That was today. We're on, at the time of recording, we're on August 25th, Sunday, and we were holding this speedrun challenge. If you had the best time of the speedrun in our game, because our game is designed to be speedrunned, right? It has some tips and tricks so that you can pass the level pretty quick if you want to. And we even have a built-in speedrunning engine into our game that records time and lets you export it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so we hosted a little challenge, yes, and the winner passed the first world of our game well, not the first world entirely, but a few levels in like 5 minutes. And he beat the boss super fast. It was incredible to watch. And I was there cheering him with the mic, like, "Wow, yeah, you're doing great!" Woo! And cheering up the crowd. It wasn't a big crowd, but I got some people interested, right? And I was like cheering him up and woo, and like doing like a commentator, like a football commentator type of thing, exactly. Yeah. And it was fun. It was fun. I like to hype people up, like woo. It was cool. Yeah. Why don't Mr. Ravi Goof? Of course, you came to my stand as well, and you were there at the Gamescom, and you also had some business at the Gamescom, right, Mr. Ravi Goof? Why don't you tell me a bit about what you did there? What were you doing at the Gamescom?
Well, I went to the Gamescom on Friday.
Yeah.
With Daniel, because he attended an event called the Bisalina Speedrun, where...
What is the Bisalina Speedrun?
I think, Bisalina is a streamer, and she had like a contest, or like the speedrun itself, where famous or like influencers or creators, more just better for a better word, they came together on the social stage, and they played against each other, or they did like a speedrun, like you explained.
Yeah.
And but they played Super Mario World, or Mario World, which was also new to me. But it looked like similar, like the old school, retro Mario games.
So it was 2D?
Yes, it was 2D, exactly.
Okay.
And my job was basically to record or to shoot a vlog about that day, about the Gamescom day when Daniel visited, or when Daniel attended to the Bisalina speedrun. And that's basically what I did. I got to meet a lot of great people there, new faces, like for example Christian Solmecke. He's like the YouTube lawyer basically.
Yes, you talked to me about him a bit.
Who is like well known.
Some stuff.
He's like pretty well known throughout Germany, consulting other creators about
legal
as
stuff.
as an attorney.
Yeah. Doing his
Um,
job basically.
Exactly.
And also getting some exposure in the meantime.
Yeah, I think he has approximately 1 million followers, 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
Which is great.
I'm a bit out of the German YouTube scene, because I used to follow these creators and they all disappeared. So it's fun to learn a bit about the new like influencers in Germany that are getting popular, right? It's interesting to have you to keep me in the loop there. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of relative to talk about sort of new or old creators, because Solmecke, for example, he has been a creator since 15 years now. So it's been quite a ride for him as well. It's only right, normally the creator growth happens in an exponential way, right? Because like the first years, basically nothing happens, and then all of a sudden it just takes off like a rocket.
I see. So they're not exactly new, just that they're more relevant now, is what you mean.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right, of course. It's not like you upload your first video and you blow up, or at least that's not the case for most people. Most people work hard at it and they build a gradual audience, and then suddenly it takes off.
Right.
And of course that is something that has a lot of work put into it, a lot of work and luck. But also most people deserve it for putting the hours in, right?
Well, it's kind of, regarding the growth, it's kind of different on each platform. Or on most of the platforms, it's kind of the same. But for example, if you look at TikTok, where you have actually kind of the possibility or the probability is pretty high that if you create a good video, a good piece of content there, that it can actually blow up while being your first video ever.
Of course. Then I know that TikTok is more likely to get you viral. for one piece of content, one video. But it's I imagine it's not the best to grow an audience, right? It's more of a thing to get a video viral quick.
Yeah, to get more exposure.
Yeah,
right?
but maybe not the best place to grow an audience. Like I imagine I imagine the TikTok user is just scrolling and not clicking on each account and following, right?
Yeah, it happens a lot faster, right? The environment of TikTok is so fast paced, right? But talking about building a brand, you know, a lot of companies that I've seen who have good social media accounts or like a good social media presence, they rather focus on brand building, which is kind of the long-term process or the long-term perspective, rather than just going viral and sort of the short term.
I hope so. That seems like a wiser strategy.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
At least for the long term, if you want to build something sustainable, right?
Yeah, because if you build something for the long term and you create the content contextual to the platform, for example, at TikTok, if you build for the long term, you have your long term vision in mind, and then as like a side dish, you get the benefit of it probably going viral, right? So that's sort of like the powerful way of social media strategy.
Yeah.
But going back to the Gamescom, I shot the vlog with Daniel, and when the event was over, I stayed at the Gamescom, and that's when I visited you. That's when I surprised you at your booth, at the Bubble Ghost booth, and and then after that, after we talked a little bit and I played Bubble Ghost, I went to the XR booth for XR games, extended reality, virtual reality, not so much augmented reality, but rather virtual reality with the Meta Quest 3 that is pretty popular at the moment. Jorge Aranda actually has a Meta Quest 3. He's the game producer that we talked to once.
I
an
remember.
episode.
He was one of our previous guests in season 1, right? Or season 2?
It's season 2.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways,
If he says so.
he has a Meta Quest 3, and
how expensive are these?
it must be around 500, 400-ish euros.
Bruh.
But if you compare like to, obviously you cannot really compare to the Apple Vision Pro, because the Apple Vision Pro is like price-wise over the top, right?
Battery-wise, not so much.
Yeah.
And you look and you have the extra creep factor in the Apple Vision Pro. You look like a weird alien with the holographic, not holographic, but with the eye reflection, like. The Apple Vision Pro scans your face and it like digitalizes it and like displays it on the screen in front of your eyes, so you look like a weird alien.
But not all the time. Sometimes it just has like some autofocus patterns, like abstract patterns.
And when does it display your eyes?
That's what I don't know, because I've tried it, and it doesn't display. It didn't display my eyes, for example. But yeah, I went to the XR booth, which was actually appointment only, and I did not have any appointment. But I just got informed because I follow Felix Hartmann. I got to know that he has invested in two gaming companies that also were at the Gamescom at the XR booth.
The devs of Bornless?
The devs of Bornless and of Impact Reality.
Yeah.
And Bornless was like near your booth, right?
Yeah,
just Hall 10.
Just downstairs.
And Impact Reality Studios, they were at the XR booth. Yeah, so when I mentioned that I know, or that I follow Felix and Hartmann Capital, that's when I basically got the permission to enter there entered the XR booth, which was
yeah.
kind of funny.
You name dropped him, and then they were like, "Oh yes, of course, Mr. Ravi, come in, come in."
So, and then I got to chit chat a little bit with Natasha from Impact Reality, and she was really kind and basically showed me the trombone game they just launched, which is really, really great because it's like Guitar Hero, but for playing trombone.
That sounds fun.
You got to hit the notes perfectly, and you basically are holding a trombone and pushing it forward, pushing it backwards.
Yeah, with the controllers, right?
Exactly.
That sounds fun.
It was really, really a lot of fun.
You know Beat Saber?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
It reminds me of Beat Saber, what you're saying, right?
Totally.
Like, but maybe with a bit less movement, a bit more precise.
Yeah, but you have the rhythm, right?
Yeah. Beat Saber also like feels like a workout thing, right? Like you're like sort of working out and doing the rhythm thing. This is more like an artistic, suave type of game.
It's a bit more chill, but it doesn't take away the fact that it kind of pushes you a bit regarding your ability or regarding your own attitude of playing in front of a crowd, sort of. Because you get a visual of people sitting, you basically playing in front of people, out of like animated people, and that's kind of exciting.
Do they boo you if you miss up
exactly
a note?
It gets worse when you miss a note, but it gets also better if you perform well.
They cheer and like woo, woo, heavy woo, when you do it right. When you have hit like a streak of all the notes perfectly, they cheer.
They fall in love with you.
Of course. Then they get on stage and try to rip out your clothes, like the Justin Bieber concert when they took his hoodie away.
I want to come back to Bornless.
That was a very specific reference.
Because you actually tried, or you actually got to play Bornless.
Yes,
yesterday, I think.
Yes. Yesterday.
Yeah, tell me about
yesterday in the morning. I don't know the developers' names, so I will look it up while I'm talking about my experience. It was fun. It's like a co-op horror game, and it reminded me a bit of PUBG, even though maybe that's not the best comparison. But it reminded me of PUBG because it's an open map. You need to get to a specific point, and the map gets smaller, and it redirects you in a certain from Cathedral Studios. Okay, they were super nice. Like I think they're based in UK.
In London, yeah.
And they were very nice. They explained the game, and it's an online game, right? So the people that were in the match, they were all in the same area, and I got to play with the guy next to me, and we had voice chat, and we had to go around the island, gathering up loot, like in Fortnite, for example, and we get loot, we gear up. There's monsters that attack you, like creepy monsters, like giant spiders and murderous psychopaths and stuff like that.
Oh no!
And you need to defend yourself, and it's in first person, so this is immersive stuff.
Right.
And there's also cars that you can drive around, vehicles, and then you need to collect these skulls, and you put them on an altar that is displayed on the map. And once you put all the skulls in the altar, you summon this giant demon thing. I saw some screenshots of what they have announced, and it looks like they have a lot of variety of demons, like clowns and deer monsters and stuff like that, like a lot of variety of demons. And then they attack you, you kill the demon, and then you siphon its energy, its power, and then you can use that to hunt other players. You can use that demon power to win. So it's like a battle royale, but in like a team split, and you control demon powers and you kill demons, and it's creepy and spooky. So I like it very much. It was fun, and I don't play a lot of match like competitive games, but I could see myself perfectly playing this with Vali, like our friend in Germany. I always like keep in touch with him playing games online, right? So I can see myself perfectly playing this with him because it's a free game. Like I think they're just gonna charge for for skins and stuff like that. So which is like a fine business model to me, right? I respect that very much. So it was fun, and yes, very very fun. And they were chill. They gave me like a comic book as a gift when I exited their booth, it tells you the story of the game. I will read it probably on the airplane back to Spain.
Sure.
Yeah, it was cool. You wanted to. Ravi was very interested in this game, so I am dropping all the information here, so he can imagine it in his mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen some visuals. I mean, I also passed by the booth,
Yeah.
or by the stand of Bornless, and it just really looked really compelling. The only thing is that I'm not so much of a horror person myself. I rarely watch any horror movies, or I don't play any horror games. But I could see why people like it.
Yeah, horror is just an exciting genre. Like, people like to feel strong emotions in media, and I think horror is just the perfect example of that, especially thrillers, because there's like different types of horror. There's the horror of like Scary Movie and Halloween and Saw and stuff like that. That is like gore and violence and blood and organs and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm more of a fan of the thrillers that are more of something creeping down the stairs, a sound, creaking door, just tension building up, and then maybe a scare, right? I love that type of genre in movies, series. I've even read thriller books, right? I've even read some novels that had really suspense, like The Shining from Stephen King.
Stephen King, right? Yeah, you told me you're reading
yes.
Stephen King a bit.
Yes. I really like to feel that tension and release. It's exciting. And you remember it because it hits you so hard, right? I've never felt so scared while reading something. I was like, what's gonna happen? And that sensation is priceless. I love it.
It must be a different kind of perception, right? Reading something versus actually watching the visuals of it.
Yeah, I think for me, I imagine everything in my mind, and it's the scariest shit ever. Like, my mind fills in the gap of the description, and then I just conjure up the most horrifying shit ever. And it's cool that the mind plays along with the book, so to say, and it enhances the experience. It's cool. It's also really spooky stuff, but I think it works well.
Yeah, it must.
The imagination with books works well.
Yeah, right. The imagination, because it's something you create yourself, right? It's not sort of like a visual where you have like a visual representation already produced by somebody else.
Yeah,
It's like your own thing.
yeah. Your own fears will fill in the gap and make it spookier for you. That's why I also in scary films, like for example the Alien films, I like it that they don't show the xenomorph, the alien, until the end, and most of the time it's just covered in shadows, and your mind does the whole thing until the end, where you see it, which is also like the moment where it's least scary, because the main character faces the monster, right? That's when you get to see it, and the other time is covered in shadows, and it's whatever you conjure up in your mind. I think that's when horror works at its best. And so that's why I think that books are perfect for horror, because they never show you anything, which is also a good thing in films that do that. Like, for example, Alien or Jaws. Have you seen Jaws?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Well, Jaws is the same. They don't
Steven
show you the big shark until pretty much the end. They just show you like the upper fin moving in the water and stuff like that, or you see a shadow, or you see a person disappear.
Yeah, or the perspective of the shark
Yeah,
swimming through the water,
POV
right?
of the shark, exactly. That is yes, that sort of stuff is just great. You never get to see the monster until the end when the characters face it, and I love that. So, yes, horror experiences, all for me.
All right, thank you, my man, for stopping by here in Cologne.
Yes, it was a fun trip. Thank you for having me in Swaggy Cologne.
Anytime, man, you're welcome. It's your second home.
Woo! Yeah, and it's cool that we sat down and chatted again for the Nesvi Show. You know, and in 3 years, when we make another episode, we can catch up again to what we've been doing.
Sure. Gamescom 2027.
Yeah, of course. No, let's hopefully make more if we have something of value to say, right? And I really like this project that we started together, and it's also beautiful to put your what you have to say on the internet if you feel like you have something of value or something you want to share, and if there's someone listening on the other side, that is also a beautiful thing, right?
Of course. Yeah,
So-
we're going to share this on YouTube, on LinkedIn. We're going to make some clips out of it. So
Ooh.
we're going to try our best to
And on
communicate.
Spotify.
And on Spotify.
On Spotify too, and on that audio on that podcast app, what was it? Anchor.
No, but Spotify actually bought Anchor.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So now you have Spotify for podcasters. But that's the topic for another day. Thank you very
Interesting.
much for listening to this episode, and we'll see you guys the next time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Au revoir. Arrivederci. Adios. Tschüss. Okay.